So this was shot with the Sony NX80 in SLog-2, and this is kind of a weird shot, but it's also interesting in that it captures the entire dynamic range that the sensor can output. So if you look at the wheel rim there, it comes out about 109 IRE, just a little below that, so it's just below clipping. That's the brightest white that that sensor can see, along with the darkest shadow that it can see inside the wheel well there, which is about roughly 5 IRE or so. So that is literally the darkest shadow that it's able to see. So this shot contains literally the entire dynamic range that this little image sensor can possibly put out. So you're probably wondering, hey, what's all that noise inside the wheel well there? Well, that's actually the beauty of SLog. SLog samples the entire dynamic range of the sensor, including its very, very lowest output. What you see there in that wheel well, that black area, is really the basement of the sensor, and that's the actual noise floor that the sensor's actually got. You won't get this sampling in any other gamma profile on the camera other than log, because the Cine gammas, for example, just don't go that low, don't sample this low into the sensor's dynamic range. But SLog actually does. It records it and it actually gives it to you. Now, you might not want all of that, but at least you have it. So now this is the same scene graded to a Rec 709 type contrast. I brought the brightest highlights down to 100, and my shadows are right about 0. So this would be an example of a high contrast sort of broadcast legal color grade. I did lift the shadows a little bit because I just didn't want to crush those blacks too much. Again, I shot an S-Log, so I've got those shadows to play with if I want. But so yeah, this is just a very simple sort of a vanilla color grade, but you can see just how S-Log can look when it's color graded. So now I've got a split screen here of a different color grade. I've got sort of the raw SLog-2 on the left side and another grade that I did on the right side here that I really wanted to see what I could do with those shadows. And there's noise reduction in this color grade, and I also lifted the blacks a lot. I don't know, let's just say there was a snake or something in there that I really wanted to show. I have that ability to do that because I shot it in S-Log and didn't use a Rec 709 profile, and I could show the parts that are inside that wheel well, the suspension, I don't know, anything that's in there that might be interesting. This doesn't have to be a wheel well. I mean, it could be anything. It could be a dark stage in a rock concert, a guitar amp or something in the shadow. It could be a stage play with an actor acting in the shadow. It could be an animal under a tree. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, but that's just shows how the shadows can be used in SLog-2. If you are willing to work at it, to do a grade and grade that out. So it's usable, you can see, and when you record in any Rec 709 profile, you have to understand that it's a destructive process. Whatever you clipped, whatever highlights you clipped, or whatever shadows you didn't get in a Rec 709 type profile, it's gone forever. There's nothing you can really do to get it back. When you shoot in log, it's a less of a destructive process because although you might not use some of what you capture, at least you have that option in post to be able to work it and pull it out if you feel like it down the road. It's there. You don't have to use it, but you can if you really, really want to someday. And of course, allows you to do other types of grades at the same time. You can do 2 different color grades. One that looks more normal, Rec 709. One that's got different shadows. If you're just willing to work at it, using S-Log on the NX80 can give you more dynamic range. You have to pay for it. You won't be free. You're going to have to work it out in post, but you can definitely do it with SLog-2 and get more dynamic range than you would out of any of the Cine profiles.